All right, Shalom. First, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rachak, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. Today, I'm going to go into Second Ezra, the 14th chapter. All right, and pretty much just go through the whole chapter. You know, Lord willing, it be edifying to the elect. All right, and beginning off, all right, Ezra, all right, being a prophet, a priest, a man of the Lord, all right, he was given all these visions, which when you read in the book of Second Ezra, the 3rd chapter, it tells you that Ezra was in Babylon, all right, when he received these visions, okay, because at this time the Babylonians had sacked Jerusalem, all right, besieged Jerusalem, all right, and basically, burnt the temple, burnt the walls, according to the judgment which the Lord, through the mouth of Jeremiah the prophet, was forewarning, all right, the kingdom of Judah, okay, as to what was to come, all right. But yeah, before I go in, let me just read that. This is Second Ezra chapter 3, verse 1. It says, "In the 30th year after the ruin of the city, I was in Babylon and lay troubled upon my bed." All right, so if you had Babylon, all right, give me 1 second. Let's see, right, so if you had Babylon, or the Babylonians that came and basically besieged Jerusalem around 586, all right, BC, 30 years from there would be around 556, all right. So Ezra said, "In the 30th year after the ruin of the city, I was in Babylon because they were taken captives, all right, and lay troubled upon my bed, and my thoughts came up over my heart," meaning he was meditating. And that happens to us too, all right. You'd be there, and sometimes you just you're vexed because you're in captivity, so it says verse 2, "For I saw the desolation of Sion and the wealth of them that dwelt at Babylon." All right, and that's like today. You see our people in the lower state, and then you see these heathens, all right, and how they're doing much better, especially the Edomites, all right, really starting with their elites, but how these heathens basically come in here and they're put in a position above us, all right. And so Ezra says, "And my spirit was sore moved, so that I began to speak words full of fear to the Most High, and said," and then he goes on to go into that, but we're not going to go into the 3rd chapter. We're going to go into the 14th chapter. So this is Second Ezra chapter 14, verse 1. It says, "And it came to pass upon the 3rd day, I sat under an oak, and behold, there came a voice out of a bush over against me, and said, Esdras, Esdras. And I said, Here I am, O Lord, or here am I, Lord. And I stood upon my feet. Then he said unto me, In the bush I did manifestly reveal myself unto Moses, and talked with him, when my people served in Egypt. And I sent him and led my people out of Egypt, and brought him up to the Mount of Sinai, where I held him by me a long season, and told him many wondrous things, and showed him the secrets of the times and the end, and commanded him, saying, These words shalt thou declare, and these shalt thou hide." All right, so Moses, all right, was showing a lot of things up in that mountain. All right, while Israel thought that he was dead, and they built them golden calves and so on. The Lord showed Moses the beginning and the end. All right, well, that's how he knew. Deuteronomy 28 and 68, Moses prophesied that we would come, all right, here into America on slave ships as slaves. All right, the transatlantic slave trade, which was a very long time from the time of Moses. Why? Because the Lord showed him all these things. Okay, and he also saw the siege. All right, the siege of Jerusalem. The siege of Jerusalem in 70 AD. That's in Deuteronomy the 28th chapter. Okay, so the Lord revealed to Moses a lot of things, which, as we read here, some he allowed Moses to reveal, and or to hide, or to declare, and others he had him hide them. Same thing with John, the Apostle John. So that's why the scriptures say that we know in part, we prophesy in part, because there's a lot of things that we do not know, all right, because they're not written in the scriptures. However, it's not relevant for salvation. So the things we do know, the things we do need for salvation, the things that are sufficient for us in this time, is what the Lord had preserved for us to have now. And the rest we'll get when Yahushua comes back. Okay? So that's how we have the book of Genesis, and it tells us about all the times that happened before. All right, that was all given to Moses, because Moses wasn't physically there as Moses. All right, so how did he know the details about what happened back then? Because the Lord revealed it to him. So it says, verse 7, and now I say unto thee, that thou lay up in thy heart the signs that I have showed thee, and the dreams that thou hast seen, and the interpretations which thou hast heard. For thou shalt be taken away from all, and from henceforth thou shalt remain with my son, and with such as be like thee, until the times be ended. All right, and where was Yahushua in the spirit world? Because once you die, where do you go? You go to the spirit world. All right, but it was going to be a while until Ezra died. All right, when you look it up, he lived to a very old age. Verse 9, it says, verse 10, it says, for the world hath lost his youth, and the times begin to wax old. Because just like everything that is created, it has life. You know, you start off young, you grow old. All right, so even the earth, all right, has an age. But contrary to what Esau will tell you about 1,000,000 and something years old, the scriptures, as we're about to read, the earth is not that old. Okay, but the earth is, as of right now, the earth is not in this youthful state, especially now with all the pollution and the corruption that is taking place, all right, on the earth, because the earth has a spirit. Okay, verse 11, it says, for the world is divided into 12 parts, and the 10 parts of it are gone already, and half of a 10th part. So now you might think this is talking about, which is not. It's not talking about the 12 parts representing the 12 tribes of Israel, and the 10 parts being the northern kingdom. No, this is talking about time. All right, it's referring on to time. So the 12 parts will represent 12,000 years. Okay, so in the time of Ezra, when he's getting this vision, the angel is telling him, the angel Uriel is telling him what? And the 10 parts of it are gone already, and half of a 10th part. That doesn't mean 10 and a half, it means 9 and a half. All right, that's why it says half of a 10th part. Okay, because if you reach 9 hours and 30 minutes, right? For example, you reach 9 hours and 30 minutes, or 9 and a half, you've breached that 10th hour, or that 10th part, and you're halfway into the 10th part. Okay, so what this is referring to is 9,500 years. It says, and there remaineth that which is after the half of the 10th part. So after that 500 more years of that 10th part, you have 2,000 more years in order to make it what? 12,000 years total. All right, now when you do the calculations from the time of Ezra, okay, to the time of Yahushua was roughly around 500 years. Okay, because what you'll come to find out is the Most High, sometimes he's very specific, but sometimes when it comes to time, the Most High doesn't deal with exact time. All right, the Most High said he was going to cut the lifespan of man to about 120 years, but that didn't happen immediately. That was something that happened over time. All right, also when we were put in captivity as the southern kingdom, the Lord said we will be in captivity for 70 years, but it wasn't exactly 70 years. All right, because when the Babylonians came into rulership under Nebuchadnezzar, all right, it was really his father, but when he came into power and besieged Jerusalem, from that time until the Babylonians went down, it wasn't really 70 years, but it was around that time. Okay, so what you'll find out is the Most High doesn't deal with exact time all the time. All right, so it says, and there remaineth that which is after the half of the 10th part, which will be 2,500 years. Okay, and now where we're at, we're a little after that, because from let's say 500 years between Ezra and Yahushua, and now after Yahushua's death and he's gone, it's been over 2,000 years. Okay, but that's going to show you that now we're in that end. all right, of Esau's kingdom, we're at the quote unquote end of the world, all right, at that 12,000 year, really a little past it, all right. But this is the time when Esau is going to go down and the earth is going to be rejuvenated once again, okay. And when we're in rulership, the earth isn't going to lose its youth, all right, just like we're not going to lose our youth, okay. Verse 13, it says, now therefore set thine house in order and reprove thy people, comfort such of them as be in trouble, and now renounce corruption. Because our people were in what? In Babylon, all right, and you had a lot of them who were starting to get influenced by the customs of the Babylonians, all right. It says, verse 14, let go from thee mortal thoughts, cast away the burden of man, and put off now the weak nature. And you'll notice that when you fast, especially when you fast for a longer period of time, a lot of the mortal thoughts and the things of the flesh, you lose desire in that. You know, when you're fasting, let's say you go 2-3 days, what you want to do or what you feel good doing is staying in the spirit. You know, that women, you know, TV shows, video games, stuff like that doesn't really interest you anymore. You know, because those are things that please the flesh. But when you're fasting, the flesh is weak. So it's the desires of the flesh are not strong. All right. And when the flesh is weak, the spirit is made stronger. So you want to, when you're fasting, you want to engage in spiritual activity, whether it's reading or watching videos or learning or studying, praying, you know, that's what you have desire onto. Okay. Because now being that the spirit is stronger while you're fasting, the desire of the spirit is stronger as well. So it says, verse 15, and set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee, because the scriptures tell you when you're about to pray, all right, you want to make sure that your mind is clear, all right, and you're ready and you know what you're praying to the Most High for, all right, and you're not all, you know, you're having your mind somewhere else as you're praying to the Lord. Because that's like if I'm having a conversation with you and you're constantly looking at your phone or you're constantly thinking of something else and you're not paying attention, then it's not really a conversation. All right. And it shows a sign of disrespect. All right. So you want to make sure when you're praying, you come to the Most High ready. All right. With a clear mind. And then you say your prayers. OK, so it says verse 15. It says, set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee, and haste thee to flee from these times. For yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen shall happen, shall be done hereafter. For look how much the world shall be weaker through age. Because in the time of Ezra, the angel was telling him the earth has lost its youth. So how much more for all those years now after Ezra to where we at now? It says, so much the more shall evils increase upon them that dwell therein. All right. And when you compare the world now to back then, yeah, they were doing some wicked things back then, but now it's on a whole nother level. OK, it says, verse 18, for the truth is fled far away, and leasing is hard at hand. For now hasteth the vision to come, which thou hast seen. And when you read the visions Ezra was given, he had visions about the Yahushai's return. He had visions about Jacob's trouble. He had visions about the nuclear missiles. All right, about the different plagues. So that's why now we go back to the book of Ezra a lot, you know, and we go into the certain scriptures that talk about the times we're in right now. All right, to show us where we are in prophecy. So it says, verse 18, for the truth is fled far away, and leasing is hard at hand. For now hasteth the vision to come, which thou hast seen. Then answered I before thee and said, behold, Lord, I will go as thou hast commanded me, and reprove the people which are present. But they that shall be born afterward, who shall admonish them? Thus the world is set in darkness, and they that dwell therein are without light. All right, because the world is only going to get, from Ezra's time, he's saying the world is only going to get more evil. But the people that are here, I'm here, because Ezra was a priest. So he can reprove them. He can show them the right way to go. But what happens when Ezra dies? You know, who's going to reprove and correct and show those afterwards the path to follow. Now, why is Ezra saying this? Well, the next verse is going to tell you. Verse 21, for thy law is burnt. Therefore no man knoweth the things that are done of thee, or the works that shall begin. All right? Because when the Babylonians besieged Jerusalem, they set the temple on fire. All right? That's where we had a lot of our scrolls, okay, and our books written by our forefathers, and the laws and all of that. Okay? So Ezra is saying what? They're burnt. So if those, because Ezra knew the laws and he knew all that, but when those men died, all right, who was going to direct the people to come after them in the path to go? Because now we go back to the scriptures and we go in there, and that's how we seek the ways of the past and learn, all right, from what our forefathers did. Romans 15:4, for what was written aforetime was written for our learning. Okay, so we go back to gain that understanding, to find a clear path. But at this time, the law was burnt. So Ezra is saying, well, how are those coming after going to know what to do? All right. It says, verse 21, for thy law is burnt. Therefore no man knoweth the things that are done of thee, or the works that shall begin. But if I have found grace before thee, send the Holy Spirit into me, and I shall write all that hath been done in the world since the beginning, which were written in thy law, that men may find thy path, and that they which will live in the latter days may live. So now the Most High was going to do like a repeat of what he did for Moses to Ezra, you know. So now Ezra, as we're going to read it, the Lord put the Spirit on him, and they show you that in the movie The Book of Eli. At the end of it, Eli, well, they go off because he shaves off his whole face and he goes bald, and he's just laying there and he's just talking. And then you got the dude that's writing it down. And he's basically speaking the scriptures, and the guy's writing it down so they can have a record of the scriptures again. All right. Which they get that all from here, because we're literally about to read about that. All right. But they go off because the Most High, he's not trying to deal with no baldies, man. All right. And I'm not saying if your hair, is having trouble growing, it's a bad thing. But people who purposely bald their heads, all right, or clean, that clean shaven, that's against the scriptures. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not supposed to have that clean shaven, because that's why you'll have that dark spot around your beard area, or razor bumps. All right, because that's showing you that what your hair is supposed to grow there. All right. Of course, you can groom yourself. Okay, but there's a difference between grooming yourself and then, taking that extra mile and going off. All right. So it says, verse 23, and he answered me, saying, go thy way, gather the people together, and say unto them that they seek thee not for 40 days. All right. And that's how, I believe, that's how long Moses was up in that mountain as well. It says, but look thou, prepare thee many box trees, and take with thee Sariah, Dabria, Selemiah, Achanis, and Asiel, these 5 which are ready to write swiftly. And come hither, and I shall light a candle of understanding in thine heart, which shall not be put out till the things be performed which thou shalt begin to write. Okay, so it goes to show you that the Most High can show you things in your past. He can show you your past life. He can do all of that, but he purposely has blocked off that understanding from us. All right, for prophecy's sake. But in the kingdom, we're gonna get it all back. All right, but it says, verse 26, and when thou hast done, some things shalt thou publish, and some things shalt thou show secretly to the wise. Tomorrow this hour shalt thou begin to write. Then when so what the Most High did now was the secret things of the scriptures. He, pursuant to Amos 3:7, he revealed unto his servants, the prophets, starting with our elders and apostles, all right, of Great Millstone on down, and even their elders, all right. But the other things that are in the scriptures, the common knowledge, not that everybody can see that. Even these so-called Christians will tell you, they could tell you Jacob, Jacob was the son of Isaac, son of Abraham. His name got changed to Israel. These kind of basic things, which Everybody knows that, but the secret things of the scriptures, the Most High set it up to where it's not a separate book, but it's the understanding of it. All right, the dark sayings, okay, like the mystery of the Gentiles. All right, the chariots, you know, the return of Yahushua, these different the book of Revelations, for example, you know, these are all secret things that the Lord revealed unto us. Verse 27, it says, "Then went I forth as he commanded, and gathered all the people together, and said, Hear these words, O Israel. Our fathers at the beginning were strangers in Egypt, from whence they were delivered, and received the law of life, which they kept not, which ye also have transgressed after them. Then, because that's the reason we went into captivity. All right. Then was the land, even the land, it says, then was the land, even the land of Sion, parted among you by lot, by your fathers and ye yourselves, Salak. But your fathers and ye yourselves have done unrighteousness, and have not kept the ways which the highest commanded you. And forasmuch as he is a righteous judge, he took from you in time the thing that he had given you. All right, which number one was the land. Okay, because where were they when Ezra was saying this? They were in Babylon. All right, taking away captives. The Lord took away his grace. He took away his face. He took away the sacrifices. And when you come all the way, all right, now to where we're at, the Lord, hey, for a period of time, the Lord took away everything, our inheritance included. Okay, and now, you know, he's bringing us back, all right, to who we are, pursuant to Ezekiel the 37th chapter, all right, and Baruch the 2nd chapter, around the 30th verse on down. So it says, verse 33, and now are ye here, and your brethren among you. Therefore, if it be that ye will subdue your own understanding, and reform your hearts, ye shall be kept alive, and after death ye shall obtain mercy. All right, what does this mean? Because when you, well, Ezra is gonna say it, for after death shall the judgment come. Now, this doesn't mean when you die, that's when the Lord says, all right, you're going to hell or you're going to heaven. That's not what it's talking about. Because your judgment, as a matter of fact, let's get some understanding on that. All right. Place of judgment. All right, now this is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verse 16. It says, and moreover, I saw under the sun the place of judgment, that wickedness was there, and the place of righteousness, that iniquity was there. All right. So where does judgment take place? Under the sun. What's under the sun? The earth. Because the sun is in the earth's firmament, which is our heavens, and that's above us. If you want to see the sun, you look up. Okay. So the place of judgment is under the sun. So when we go back to 2nd Ezra chapter 14, all right, verse 35, it says, for after death shall the judgment come, when we shall live again. Because when you live again is when you serve out your judgment. That's why in verse 34, Ezra told him what? Therefore, if so be that ye will subdue your own understanding, all right, and reform your hearts, and ye shall be kept alive, and after death ye shall obtain mercy. So after you die and you go up before the judgment, all right, seat of the Lord, okay, mercy seat, judgment seat, and you get your sentence, the Lord will have mercy on you. So when you come back again, all right, when you come back again in the reincarnation, you won't have to, you know, go through such a horrible judgment as other people. You have some people that are born with deformities, crazy deformities, you know, or they're born and they live such a hard, painful life. That's judgment from their previous life. So Ezra is telling them, if you repent and if you set your mind right, when you come back again in the reincarnation, the Lord will have mercy on you. You know, it says, verse 35, for after death shall the judgment come. That's where you get your sentence. But nobody's going to serve the sentence in the spirit world, because in the spirit world, you don't feel pain. You don't feel suffering. You rest at peace. So how can your judgment be in the spirit world? Your judgment has to be here on the earth in the flesh, where you can actually feel the pain and suffer the judgment, because it was in the flesh that you committed the act, and it's going to be in the flesh that you pay for the act that you committed. So it says, for after death shall the judgment come, when we shall live again, and then shall the names of the righteous be manifest, and the works of the ungodly shall be declared. Let no man therefore, because it's here on the earth that we know about Peter, Paul, James, Yahushua, Joshua, Jeremiah, Moses. It's here on the earth that their names are manifest, because it was here on the earth that the acts that they did, the righteous deeds they did, were performed. All right. And it's also here on the earth that we hear about Esau and the Romans and so on and so forth, their wickedness. It's all here on the earth. Okay. Verse 36, let no man therefore come unto me now, nor seek after me these 40 days. So I took the 5 men, and as he commanded me, and went into the field and remained there. And the next day, behold, a voice called me, saying, Esdras, open thy mouth and drink that I give thee to drink. Then opened I my mouth, and behold, he reached me a full cup, which was full as it were with water, but the color of it was like fire. All right, so now was Ezra there, and you know what I'm saying, like Angel pulled up in a bartender outfit, you know what I'm saying, like, yo, I'm gonna help you, sip this right here, because obviously it wasn't literal. All right, because for example, when the Lord told Ezekiel to eat the whole roll, or when the angel told John to eat the little book. Now, did John put a napkin around his neck, get a fork and knife, jam the fork into the book and start tearing up them pages, like it was a salad? No. All right, it's metaphorical. Okay, but it says, verse 40, and I took it and drank, and when I had drunk of it, my heart uttered understanding. Now the heart is talking about your mind. Okay, because your actual heart doesn't speak. Okay, so it says, my heart uttered understanding, and wisdom grew in my breast, for my spirit strengthened my memory. All right, and my mouth was opened and shut no more. So now you understand how all the instructions the Lord gave Moses, when you read in the book of Leviticus, you know what I'm saying, and the Lord gave Moses these specific instructions: how to design Aaron's garment, how to build the Ark of the Covenant, how to all these different things. It's so specific, and it's so much measurements, so many different designs, and you're like, how the hell did Moses remember all this? Like, I'm reading this myself, and I'm like, damn, this is long. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot of measurements and instructions here and there. So how did they remember all this? Well, guess what? Back then, number one, we lived longer and we had a better memory. We weren't eating GMO foods like we are today. All right. But number two, the Lord could put it in your spirit, as we just read right here. All right. I'm gonna read it again. Ezra said what? And I took it, verse 40, and drank. And when I had drunk of it, my heart uttered understanding, and the spirit grew in my breast, for my spirit strengthened my memory. All right. Because it's all in your spirit, man. Having a bad memory is a trait of the flesh, but your spirit is stronger than your flesh. So it says, and my mouth was opened and shut no more. The highest gave understanding unto the 5 men, and they wrote the wonderful visions of the night that were told, which they knew not. And they sat 40 days, and they wrote in the day, and at night they ate bread. As for me, I spake in the day, and held not my tongue by night. In 40 days they wrote 204 books. And it came to pass, when the 40 days were fulfilled, that the highest spake, saying, the first that thou hast written, publish openly, that the worthy and unworthy may read it. So anybody can read it. But keep the 70 last, that thou mightest deliver them only to such as be wise among the people. For in them is the spring of understanding, the fountain of wisdom, and the stream of knowledge. And I did so. All right, and that concludes the 14th chapter. But that's going to show you that not everything is given to everybody. All right, the Lord has certain that's pursuant to Amos 3 and 7. All right, the Most High reveals his secrets to his servants, the prophets. Not everybody, man. The Bible, anybody can grab it. Anybody can go to the store and buy the Bible. All right, but do you understand it? That understanding the Lord has reserved for only his elect. All right, the true, pure understanding is only for the Lord's elect. All right, but I'm going to end it off here. Lord willing, this was edifying unto the elect. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachak Wadash. Until next time, Shalom.